Now, believe it or not, I'm one of those people who have siblings. How many siblings, you may be asking? Honestly, I wish I could give you a precise number, but the figure kind of fluctuates between 0 and 2, depending on how I feel about them at a given time. For the most part, I admit to having 1.5 siblings, with the 1 obviously being my favorite sibling and the 0.5 being my least favorite sibling. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up my totally real fakish siblings is because it ties in neatly with the story that I'm about to tell you guys. And obviously, hoping that you're literate and you read the title, you know that I'm about to talk about the beef between Huitzilopochtli and his sister, Coualxauhqui. Because oh boy, this story gave me nightmares. And I wish I was being hyperbolic here. But enough of my rambling. Let's get into the story. Let's talk about the characters involved. So, we have Huitzilopochtli, who's gonna be acting as our protagonist for the story. He is the Aztec god of war, the sun, and human sacrifice. So everyone, let's clap for him because he's the main reason why Aztecs are so goddamn scary. We move on to the antagonist of our story, Huitzilopochtli's older sister Coualxauhqui, who is also known as the Aztec god of the moon and the Milky Way. And then we have Huitzilopochtli and Coualxauhqui's mother, Coatlicue, who is the mother of the gods. She was the one who gave birth to the moon and the stars. So it's safe to say that she had a crap load of children. I mean, she gave birth to the stars. Do you know how many stars there are? Like, after a point, even Michelle Duggar would be like, hey, that's a bit much, ma'am. But anyway, who am I to judge? You do you, boo. You do you. So our story begins with Coatlicue chilling in a temple on a mountain called Mount Coatepec, most likely hiding from that nation of children that she birthed, but I digress. The point was that she was on the mountain in a temple, most likely chilling outside. So while she was chilling outside, minding her own business, enjoying her life, probably living it to the fullest, a bundle of hummingbird feathers fall out of the sky and onto the ground near her. So she sees this bundle of hummingbird feathers and she's like, oh, that looks pretty. I'm gonna take it and keep it because I'm a rational being. I like pretty things, so why not? So she takes the bundle of hummingbird feathers and she tucks it on her breast for safekeeping. And then she moseys on with her day. But little did she know that having contact with that bundle of hummingbird feathers would lead to her demise. Because believe it or not, those feathers got her pregnant. This is logic that I refuse to accept. I mean, I understand that this is like mythology and these are deities that we're talking about that probably exist on a different plane when it comes to logic and science and probably even morality. But at the same time, I refuse to accept this without an adequate explanation. You know? Like, how? Just how? I don't even care about the why. It's just how. But anyway, yeah, so she got pregnant with Huitzilopochtli, and her daughter, Coualxauhqui, heard that her mother was pregnant. And instead of being overjoyed and happy for her mother getting pregnant for the umpteenth time, she wanted to kill her mother. The disrespect. Yeah, because she also somehow found out how Huitzilopochtli was conceived. And from my understanding, Coualxauhqui didn't really approve of the way that her brother was conceived. She thought that the way that Coatlicue had been impregnated was unnatural and dishonorable. Side note, even the deities think that the way that Huitzilopochtli was put in his mother's womb was unnatural. That says something about the bizarre nature of this occurrence. I mean, the beings that are known to do bizarre things or things out of the ordinary think that this is unnatural. Am I right or am I wrong? Post what you think in the comments below. Anyway, back to the story. So obviously Coualxauhqui was pissed and she wanted to kill her mother for getting pregnant with Huitzilopochtli. But she didn't want to confront her mother on her own. So she went and she rallied 400 of her siblings to go and march to Mount Coatepec to approach their mother and kill her. These guys are good children, aren't they? And again, another side note, I'm sorry, but 400 people is a bit much, especially when it comes to murdering 1, maybe 2 people, you know? I think that everyone knows that the golden number is 5 people maximum, maybe 10 if you really want to make sure that this person will end up dead after you approach them. I mean, 400 people is just wasteful. You're wasting like 390 people's time. I'm pretty sure, like, her brothers were the stars in the sky. They have other shit to do. Like, not murder the person who gave life to them, who was also pregnant with another sibling of theirs. But I'm pretty sure that they had their own rationale. Anyway, so she rallied her brothers and they marched to Mount Kotepec, where they found their mother at the temple. And long story short, Coualxauhqui gets decapitated by the children she brought into existence. So obviously Huitzilopochtli is in utero when this happens and he can feel his mother's death. So this angers him and he emerges from the womb fully grown in armor and he butchers his brothers right in front of Coualxauhqui's eyes. Just 400 of them just gone, leaving Coualxauhqui alone. And by the way, he showed her no mercy. He decapitated his sibling. He cut her body up into pieces and he threw her down the mountain. Then he took her severed head and he threw it into the sky, where her severed head became the moon. And that's what went down between Huitzilopochtli and Coyolxauhqui. That's hardcore, man. That's... Anyway, let's move on to the moral of the story. So the moral of the story is, if you want to murder your younger sibling, particularly your youngest sibling, then it's best not to, because that shit's gonna backfire on you hard. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe and so on. Tell your friends that we exist. And I hope to see you in 2 weeks with another video. Or maybe one if I feel lazy and I might put up a fact video.